right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. Uh, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time out, showing some interest. Um, so who am I? My name is Nate. I am an Air Force veteran. I am an ASU graduate. Thank you, GI Bill. And about a year and a half ago, I decided that I wanted to pivot um, away from my degree and get into the technical field. So, what am I doing? Well, today I started the process. I started studying for my CCNA, the Cisco CCNA 200 301. Um, One of the big things I did today, besides starting some of the course material, is I set up a test date. So I am scheduled to test in person on March 31st. That gives me a little bit over a month to accomplish this. So for the next month, I'm going to be coming on Twitch at the end of every day and just be giving a little check-in. So a lot like how that test date adds add some structure to my course. These check-ins are going to add some structure to my everyday. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go over what I studied for the day. I might do some practice problems, some practice labs, stuff like that. And that's not only to encourage myself to continue to study, but it's in hopes of maybe like a recruiter or someone that looked at my resume stops by and they see that, yeah, I really do know this stuff, that I'm motivated. And it's that extra little bit that gets me over the edge, right? So that's what I'm doing here. That's why I'm making this stream. Also, there's also the opportunity that I meet some people along the way that are also interested in the CCNA. They're also interested in the certificate program, and we go through it together. There's a lot of people right now going through this process, so this is what we're going to be doing. So how is my process going to work? Well, I'm gonna take it on like a boot camp. So I'm gonna be spending 10 to 12 hours a day, every day, going over the CCNA course material, and that's gonna start at 4 a.m. Wake up, get on the computer, and just start going after it. There's going to be various breaks throughout the day that I'm going to actually go out and do like as physically strenuous things as I can possibly do, which is mostly just walking my dog on super long walks. And the point of that is to provide opportunities for my brain to rest and wonder, and for me to get out as much energy as possible, physical energy as possible, because I'm also going to be drinking a lot of coffee, a lot of energy drinks, anything that's going to help me stay focused throughout the day. So this might sound kind of hard. It might sound like, why would you put yourself through this? How can you expect that you're going to be able to do this? And this is actually my third time doing this. So, like I said, a year and a half ago is when I first decided that I was going to pivot into the technology field. So it was October 2019, around then. And so the first thing I did is, after looking at some jobs and realizing that I didn't have any prior experience in the technical field, and my degree wasn't, although it was a scientific degree, it wasn't right for a lot of the jobs I was looking into. So I immediately started jumping on some certificates, and I got what's called the CompTIA trifecta. So that's the CompTIA A plus certificate, that's the CompTIA Networking Plus certificate, and the CompTIA Security Plus certificate. And I got each one of those within a month. So I started with A plus in October, and that's actually 2 tests. So it took me 2 weeks to study for the hardware aspect and 2 weeks to study for the software aspect. Luckily, the A plus, for anyone who's spent a lot of time around technology, who's built their own computers, who's kind of played around with all the various programs that they're popular on the internet and things like that, you'll find the A plus, a lot of it's review. So that wasn't too hard, and it was actually a great entry point. because it was one of the easier tests, so I got to see what testing in person was like and things like that. But anyways, the point is that I've done this before. I gave myself a month for each one. These are typically certificates that people say you want to take 3 to 6 months to do. That being said, they're not taking a full 10-hour to 12-hour day to do it. A lot of people are just taking an hour or two in the afternoon. So that's actually about right. I just choose to, well, honestly, if I would have started this earlier on in the pandemic, it wouldn't be like this, right? But I just don't seem to be the kind of person that they can schedule 2 hours at the end of the day for going over this course material. I seem to be the kind of person that just loves to immerse myself completely in it, and that's another reason this is so great. So we got the 200-301 CCNA exam pulled up here. This is the Cisco website. This is actually everything that's on the test right here. They give you like a general idea of what's covered and how much it takes up the test, what percentage you can expect. I mean, this isn't completely accurate because everyone's test is going to be different. There's going to be labs, things like that. I think it covers that. So 120 minutes and everyone's test is different. So this is one of the resources I'm going to be using, obviously, because it tells you exactly what you should be spending your time on. So this is a great resource. I feel like a lot of people don't spend enough time just going through the topics of the test, because if you can go through here, the more of this you can answer, and answer not only like what exactly it is, but how it interacts with the things around it, the better off you are, right? Like the better understanding you have of these concepts, the more likely you are not to get stumped by a question that has like similar answers. So this is a great resource. Of course, just go straight to Cisco. The other one of the big resources I'm going to be using is called Udemy. Udemy.com is a website that has a bunch of courses all kind of put together, a bunch of different professors that offer those courses put together in a rating system, so you can kind of go through and look exactly what you need for your certificate and kind of pick the best professor for the best price point for you. So I went through, this isn't the first time I've used Udemy. I've used it for a lot of my certificates. So you'll see I have a bunch of different courses in here, but I can get it down to just the CCNA so we can look at the resources I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Neil Anderson's course. This is what I was doing today, so it's already, I managed to get about 25% through it, and that's because a lot of the early stuff was luckily review for me, and we'll go through that a little later as I'm going to kind of touch on what I went through today. The other stuff I have is some labs, some practice exams, and another course. So I'm going to be going through this is how I study. Like, I immerse myself and I go through it multiple times, like repetition. And if I can get 2 instructors, so I can get it from 2 different perspectives and get that repetition, that's even better. So, I'm hitting up instructors, I'm getting different perspectives. I'm also streaming it, so I have to be ready to talk about it that way. I'm making flashcards that I'm constantly going over. I'm taking notes. So it's always just about different ways to get that repetition. I'm writing it, I'm typing it, I'm talking about it, I'm listening to it from different perspectives. Again, just as many different ways as possible. Some more resources, YouTube. YouTube is amazing. There are some professors out there that put all their stuff up on YouTube for free, and it is top notch. Like, they keep it up to date. One of my favorite YouTube professors, I mean, he's got other stuff. He's got his own websites. He puts up books on Amazon. He's got his own courses and things like that, but he also puts it on YouTube, and that's Professor Messer. Like, later on, I have to, a big part of the CCNA is subnetting. We'll cover that later on. Professor Messer, he has one of the best methods for doing subnetting on an exam, because you don't get the typical resources you would have like outside of an exam. You have that added stress of needing to get the math right and quickly. Make sure you don't make a mistake with your mask or something like that. So Professor Messer, amazing at subnetting, amazing at breaking things down. Dion Training, Professor Dion, he is also really great. He's got another really good information on subnetting, a different perspective, a different trick. Um, so if you find that Professor Messer's trick doesn't work for you, always look for another professor, right? There's going to be someone out there that explains these concepts in a way that makes it easy for you to understand, or at least doesn't make it so confusing. Because there are professors out there that the way they explain things, the way they jump around from topics without giving you the basic understanding of that information, it can be daunting, it can be confusing. So I recommend like constantly going out there and finding stuff. Mike Myers, he actually goes under Total Seminars because he has some other people come on his YouTube channel and teach. But Mike Myers, he if you ever want to get everything possible about a certain aspect of technology, go to Mike Myers because he will include the history. He will include like possible experimental aspects of it, like what they could theoretical employment of the different things that you're covering. So Mike Myers is going to give you more than you need to know for your certificate, but he's going to give you the information that's going to help you out overall in life. So if you're looking for that extra deep dive, Mike Myers, he's going to cover it that way. So Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer is another resource I'm going to be using a lot. Cisco puts this out. It's free. It's completely free. You sign up for a little course through this netcad, and I'll include all these links somewhere. I'll link them on the YouTube video. But Cisco Packet Tracer, it allows you to practice on all the different Cisco products without having to buy them. I mean, this is what makes it possible to practice for this exam and not already work for a huge company that has access to all these products. Like, this basically allows you to virtually create any one of tomorrow I'm going to be specifically going over subnetting and packet tracer, so we'll see that firsthand tomorrow. I'll make a couple of practice labs, like super basic stuff, because again, I'm learning this as I'm doing it, so expect these first couple of videos to be very general, very shallow, but they're going to get deeper and deeper as we go on. I'm going to add more and more to it. I'm going to show the depth of understanding, so I think this is going to be really neat, and I hope some people join along. Hey buddy, I see that I got a couple of guys in here now, or at least one of my friends in here joining me, so good to see. Good to have that support. So again, we're going to be using Packet Tracer tomorrow. I'll have some labs set up to show some of the commands that you can use and how it encompasses all the different Cisco products. Another resource that's super helpful is going to be the Reddit CCNA subreddit. These guys and gals, these individuals scour the internet looking for different ways to help you with CCNA. They have their own Discord. They're constantly finding discounts for your test. So, I mean, this is all super helpful. If you have a question, you can come here and ask it, and there's going to be people that want to answer it. Because again, one of the best ways to learn is to teach what you already know to someone else. Again, it's that repetition. It's creating those pathways in your brain because you're looking at something in a different way. You're wording it differently than you would. You're absorbing someone else's perspective, their questions, their way of looking at it, and you have to change the way you would typically think about it, how you'd respond to yourself with your inner monologues, right? Like those fights that you have in your head, you're always winning them. The other person always says exactly what you need them to say for you to say. Say your big line. That's not life. So when you're having a conversation about this stuff, it's gonna draw out new ways of thinking about it. So again, these are just some of the resources we're going to be using to go over this stuff. And that was just kind of like a general overview of who I am, what I'm doing here, what I hope to accomplish, and hopefully some people come along on the ride.